Hi everyone, it's Rax. As promised, I have installed another tab into the tier list. If you didn't watch the other videos, we have the solo XP tier list, the glyph leveling tier list, and the combined tier list for all the nightmare dungeons. And today I put in another 8 hours running all the dungeons, again, looking for the events inside of dungeons. And I gotta be honest with you, it was kind of hard to find them. When you're running through normal nightmare dungeons, you're probably thinking, man, there's events everywhere. But then once you start running them, looking for them, they're nowhere to be found. That's just how it goes in life. So here's what I did. I found all the different events, and I might have missed some. So I'm probably going to have to do another day of data just to make sure. So if you're watching this tomorrow, if you see the data shifting a bit, or if you see an event added, you'll know where that's from, but it's still the same sheet as last time. So I did 5 cursed chests. This is the level difference. You want to have it at least 3, so you get the 25% extra XP. So as long as this number is a 3 or higher, it should be good. Starting XP, ending XP, what's my XP total? How long did it take? Even though it's a 60-second timer, sometimes it takes you a few extra seconds to actually finish it. And then we're converting it into the same kind of data that we used for Nightmare Dungeons. Well, if you run a Blind Burrows, the best Nightmare Dungeon, you get 35.8 million XP per hour. I'm comparing that exactly to the 63 seconds that you spend here. What is the average XP that you can get? And you're going to see there are some drastically different values here. You can get as much or as low as 28 for doing a cursed chest, or you can get as much as 37. Now this will depend, of course, on your build, your ability to full clear the whole screen. I was on Bone Spear Necromancer, so I had a pretty good clear here. Another thing that I think matters is what dungeon you get it in, because the mob type that spawns out of them, I think, is going to impact it as well. So a little bit of swings here, so you got to run it a lot of times and average it to tell you, in general, is it worth doing this event? So what we're looking at here is these are the XP per hours that you get running the top tier solo nightmare dungeons. So, of course, the question is should you just sit there and do the event, or is it better to skip it and go run another one? Well, let's just look at the data here. As you can see, we have 2 tiers. We have worth, which obviously means you should do it, and hell nah, which means it's not good at all. And if you look closely, the results are extremely polarizing. The worst one, which is Wandering Soul, which is essentially 29 million XP per hour, all of those are essentially S tier XP, not to mention all of the loot that drops everywhere, the gold, the obols, and you're also getting, what are they called, shattered prisms sometimes. You're getting some really valuable stuff out of the treasure chest and just out of the drops. So if you see these, so if you're running through the dungeon, you can click on 3 things that can sabotage you. If you click on a pylon, you get Cursed Shrine, and they are absolutely not worth doing. You should run by the pylon. If you're circling back in the dungeon and it's like done and you can just click the pylon at the end of it, then that would work. But in general, you should skip it entirely. But if you click a treasure chest or a healing well and it spawns a bunch of monsters, you should definitely stop and kill them. Another thing is these are probably even far more worth it in a group, because in a group, especially if you have a full party, if you got 4 people and 3 people are completing the dungeon, if one person goes to the side and does one of these events for you, you're just tacking on a ton of XP for the whole group. So I think that would increase the value of it. Immolation is the statues that shoot the fire everywhere. Terrible. Now, actually, I can only find one of them, so I need to find more data, but the one run was so bad that I'm confident in telling you, unless that was a fluke run and the other ones are godly, it's complete garbage. Another one is Rest for the Wary. Could never find it, and it averaged 13.5. So just absolutely atrocious. Another thing is this Potent Blood event has these gigantic wait times in between each beast kill and a massive wait at the end. This has got to be completely abolished from this. It needs to be sped up like 1,000 times. Another thing that I can tell you about running these is the mastery either doesn't have an effect on the XP or it's extremely minimal. Because look at Last Stand. Last Stand, I didn't achieve mastery, and I got 38, 38, and 25. And then the one time I did, I got 26, which is almost the worst XP that I got. So that doesn't matter either. So a bunch of interesting stuff and a bunch of polarizing things. What's the conclusion? That's all you guys care about. Let's get to it. When you're running through clicking on stuff, if it's a chest or a well, do it. If it's a shrine, skip it. If you're coming back at the end and just want to click the shrine, that works. Then when you get to little side areas, there's only 2 events that you should do. Last Stand and Wandering Soul. If it's not those 2, skip it. In group play, probably all of these have higher value, but again, I would probably tell you that only these are worth it. So I hope that that helps you. So now, with all this information, you should essentially be always running the S and the A tier dungeons for XP. If you run out of those, B is fine and C is like an absolute last ditch resort. D should always be salvaged and probably the C's as well to try to craft more S's, A's, and B's. Click the wells, click the chests, do those. Do Last Stand and Wandering Soul only. And I promise you, you will level way faster than just randomly playing the game. I don't know. I'll be brainstorming and see if I can find other data to get. If I get more data, it's always going to go in the sheet, so you'll always have the most up-to-date thing. And when Season 1 comes out, I'll do it all again. If everything shifts around, we'll go again. I'm going to provide this feedback to Blizzard and tell them, Blizzard, some of your events are godly and some of them absolutely suck. Oops. And some of them absolutely suck. And then maybe they will go in there and fix them, and maybe one day all the events will be worth it. One final comment I want to make, because somebody asked me this. They said, Rax, what would you do if it were up to you? It's the same logic that I was talking to you guys about Helltide. I think Helltide is the best designed game mode in Diablo 4 because Helltide is designed where everything that they put in it is valuable. All of it. You go to Helltide, you kill the random monsters, you get the cinders. If you learn where the mystery chests are, you get massive value in Forgotten Souls. By the way, they say that the grandfather that was found came out of a Helltide chest. If you click the rocks, it's valuable. If you click the flowers, it's valuable. Everything that you do is valuable in Helltide. Kill the boss, kill the elites, do everything. Well, I think they should apply the same philosophy here. When something pops up, a goblin, a butcher, an event, a cursed shrine, anything, you should incentivize us to do this. So I think every event should be designed in a way where it gives you essentially A or S tier rewards. They should be very, very, very good because you should be excited to find this event. You should not have to do exactly what you're doing. Looking at my sheet and figuring out what is good and what is literally twice as bad. What is worth your time and hell no, it's not even close to worth your time. I'll provide the feedback to them. It's okay, it's fine, I'm not mad. But hopefully we can get stuff a little bit more balanced, and that way everything that you do in Diablo 4 one day will be valuable. Anyway, see you in the next video. We're going to make a lot more of them, and they said Season 1 info I think is coming next week. You know I'll be covering it, and we'll start crunching the numbers. Thank you.